China and Japan, two East Asian giants, share a history marked by both profound interconnection and periods of intense conflict. Their shared history is a tapestry woven with threads of both collaboration and confrontation. Their relationship, stretching back over millennia, has shaped the cultural landscapes, political trajectories, and modern identities of both nations. The influence of one on the other is evident in various aspects of their societies. From the earliest exchanges of Buddhist scriptures and Confucian thought to the tumultuous conflicts of the 20th century, China and Japan have been inextricably linked. These interactions have left indelible marks on their cultural and intellectual histories. This essay delves into this intricate relationship, exploring its evolution from ancient cultural exchange to modern-day complexities. We will trace the journey of their interactions, understanding how each era has contributed to the current state of affairs. We will examine how historical dynamics continue to influence contemporary interactions, shaping the future prospects for these two pivotal powers. The echoes of the past are still heard in the corridors of modern diplomacy and trade. Understanding the nuances of this relationship requires careful navigation of historical sensitivities. The legacy of past conflicts and collaborations continues to inform the present-day policies and perceptions. This essay aims to provide a balanced perspective, acknowledging the significant cultural contributions both nations have made. Their shared heritage is a testament to the rich and complex history that binds them, while also honestly addressing the periods of conflict and the enduring scars they have left. These scars are reminders of the turbulent times that have tested their relationship. By examining the past, we can better grasp the present and potentially contribute to a more nuanced understanding of the future of China-Japan relations. The lessons learned from history can guide us towards a more harmonious future. The geographical proximity of China and Japan, separated by the East China Sea, has facilitated a continuous flow of ideas, technologies, and people between the two lands. This proximity has been both a bridge and a battleground. This exchange has been fundamental in shaping their respective civilizations. The shared innovations and cultural practices have enriched both societies. However, this proximity has also been a source of tension, leading to periods of conflict and mistrust that continue to resonate in the present day. The shadow of historical grievances still looms large over their interactions. As we embark on this exploration, it's crucial to remember that history is not merely a collection of past events. It is a living force that shapes our present and influences our future. The past is ever present in the decisions and actions of today. By engaging with the complexities of the China-Japan relationship, we gain valuable insights into the dynamics of international relations, cultural identity, and the enduring power of the past. This understanding can pave the way for more informed and empathetic interactions in the future. The early relationship between China and Japan was largely defined by cultural exchange, with China acting as a wellspring of knowledge and innovation that flowed eastward. This exchange was not merely a one-way street, but a dynamic interaction that shaped the cultural landscapes of both nations. Japan, during its formative centuries, proved to be a receptive student, absorbing and adapting Chinese influences to forge its own distinct cultural identity. The Japanese were keen observers, meticulously studying Chinese art, literature, and religious practices, and then integrating these elements into their own culture. This transmission of knowledge encompassed a wide array of fields, including writing, Buddhism, Confucianism, and governance structures. Each of these areas played a crucial role in the development of Japanese society, providing a foundation upon which Japan could build its own unique traditions. Buddhism, originating in India, found fertile ground in China and was subsequently transmitted to Japan, profoundly impacting the archipelago's spiritual landscape. The introduction of Buddhism to Japan brought with it new philosophies, artistic styles, and architectural techniques that would leave a lasting legacy. Chinese Buddhist monks journeyed across the sea, carrying with them sutras and philosophical treatises that would shape Japanese religious practices and artistic expressions. These monks were not just religious figures but also cultural ambassadors, bridging the gap between two great civilizations. The construction of grand temples such as Horyuji Temple, a testament to the assimilation of Chinese architectural styles, marked the visible influence of this cultural exchange. These temples became centers of learning and hubs of cultural activity, further cementing the bond between China and Japan. The adoption of the Chinese writing system with its intricate logographic characters was a pivotal moment in Japan's cultural development. This system not only facilitated communication, but also allowed for the preservation and dissemination of knowledge across generations. Japanese scholars dedicated themselves to mastering classical Chinese, enabling them to access a vast repository of literature, philosophy, and administrative practices. This scholarly pursuit was instrumental in shaping Japan's intellectual and cultural landscape. This linguistic bridge facilitated the transmission of Confucian thought, which emphasized social harmony, filial piety, and respect for authority. These principles resonated deeply with Japanese values and were seamlessly integrated into their societal framework. Confucian ideals became deeply ingrained in Japanese society, influencing its social hierarchy, family structure, and ethical framework. The emphasis on family loyalty and social order helped to stabilize and strengthen Japanese communities. Beyond these philosophical and religious influences, China also served as a model for governance and administration. The Chinese bureaucratic system, with its emphasis on merit and organization, provided a blueprint for Japanese political reforms. Japan, during the Taika reforms in the 7th century, sought to emulate aspects of the Chinese bureaucratic system, aiming to centralize power and establish a more organized state. These reforms were a significant step towards creating a unified and efficient government. The adoption of Chinese-inspired court rituals and administrative practices reflected Japan's eagerness to learn from its larger neighbor and adapt successful models to its own context. These practices helped to legitimize the authority of the Japanese court and streamline governance. This period of intense cultural borrowing from China laid the foundation for Japan's subsequent development. The knowledge and practices imported from China were not merely copied, but were thoughtfully adapted to fit the unique needs and circumstances of Japanese society. However, it is crucial to recognize that Japan was not a passive recipient of Chinese influence. The Japanese actively engaged with these new ideas, transforming them in ways that reflected their own cultural values and sensibilities. Instead, it actively adapted and transformed these borrowed elements, forging a unique cultural identity that reflected its own distinct values and sensibilities. This dynamic process of cultural exchange and adaptation laid the groundwork for the rich and diverse cultural heritage that Japan enjoys today. While deeply influenced by Chinese culture, Japan never sought to become a mere replica of its continental neighbor. Instead, it embarked on a unique journey of cultural synthesis, blending the best of both worlds. The Japanese people embarked on a remarkable journey of adaptation and innovation, selectively absorbing foreign elements and reshaping them to fit their own unique cultural context. This process was not merely about imitation, but about transformation, creating something entirely new and distinctly Japanese. This process of cultural digestion resulted in a vibrant and distinct Japanese identity that blended indigenous traditions with borrowed influences. Festivals, ceremonies, and daily practices all began to reflect this unique blend, creating a rich tapestry of cultural expression. One striking example of this adaptation is evident in the evolution of Japanese Buddhism. Initially, Buddhism entered Japan through China and Korea, bringing with it a wealth of religious texts, practices, and artistic styles. While initially embracing Chinese forms of Buddhism, Japan eventually developed its own distinct Buddhist sects, such as Zen Buddhism, which emphasized meditation, self-discipline, and a direct experience of enlightenment. This form of Buddhism became deeply ingrained in Japanese culture, influencing not just religion, but also the arts and daily life. Zen Buddhism, with its focus on austerity and mental fortitude, resonated deeply with the samurai class and profoundly influenced Japanese art, architecture, and gardening. The principles of Zen can be seen in the simplicity and tranquility of Japanese gardens, as well as in the disciplined practices of martial arts. The Japanese aesthetic sensibility, characterized by a profound appreciation for nature, simplicity, and subtle beauty, also diverged from Chinese artistic traditions. This aesthetic is evident in the traditional tea ceremony, where every movement and object is imbued with meaning and beauty. While Chinese art often emphasized grandeur and intricate detail, Japanese art, particularly in forms like ink painting and calligraphy, embraced a minimalist aesthetic, finding beauty in imperfection and the suggestion of form rather than explicit representation. This minimalist approach allowed for a deeper emotional and spiritual connection with the art. In the realm of literature, Japanese writers inspired by Chinese classics developed their own unique literary traditions. They took the narrative techniques and themes from Chinese literature and wove them into stories that reflected Japanese life and values. The tale of Genji, written by Lady Murasaki Shikibu in the 11th century, is considered the world's first novel, and showcases the development of a sophisticated Japanese literary style distinct from its Chinese counterparts. This work not only tells a compelling story, but also provides a window into the Heian court's life and the complexities of human emotions. This work explored themes of love, courtly intrigue, and the ephemeral nature of beauty, reflecting the evolving sensibilities of Japanese society. It set the stage for future literary works that would continue to explore these themes in new and innovative ways. The development of a unique samurai warrior class further distinguished Japan from its continental neighbors. The samurai were not just warriors but also patrons of the arts, scholars, and statesmen, contributing to the cultural and political fabric of Japan. The samurai, bound by a strict code of honor known as Bushido, played a pivotal role in shaping Japanese society, emphasizing loyalty, martial prowess, and a willingness to sacrifice oneself for one's lord. This code of conduct influenced not only the samurai, but also the broader society, instilling values of discipline and honor. This warrior ethos, while influenced by Confucian ideals of loyalty and hierarchy, took on a distinct form in Japan, contributing to the country's unique social structure and cultural values. The samurai's influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping the arts, education, and governance. Through this process of adaptation and innovation, Japan successfully forged its own distinct path, demonstrating a remarkable ability to absorb foreign influences while simultaneously nurturing its own unique cultural identity. This dynamic interplay between foreign inspiration and indigenous creativity would continue to shape Japan's trajectory in the centuries to come. The legacy of this cultural synthesis is evident in every aspect of Japanese life, from the arts and literature to the social structures and daily practices. It is a testament to Japan's enduring ability to innovate and adapt, creating a culture that is both deeply rooted